Map control isn't a choice. The med camp. Today, I'm going to show you my 6 sniping lines I use for the med camp. 3 main ones I use when I spawn in the area. The other 3 are situational and based on spawn and audio. If you've ever been sent back to the stash at the med camp, these are one of the spots that probably did it. If you want to send people back to the stash, these are the spots I would use to do it. Let's get into it. Starting with the UN roadblock. This is a very common spawn. When I spawn here, I will just run directly for the chapel rock, only checking to the right to see if anybody spawned at the old station. Other than that, you should be the first one on the scene. You can get up on this rock at any level, but the lower your strength is, the harder it can be. And practice makes perfect. Just remember that. The more you do it, the easier it'll get. Show you another spot after this if you're battling to get up here. Once you're in this location, just make your way to this little mound. You're going to line yourself up with this crevice, hold run, jump. When you get to the tippy top, just shimmy the mouse to the left and it'll slide you up. Couple more jumps and you'll be on the top. Just situate myself just on the side and tuck myself in. You might think you're hidden, but you're not. Once you're up here, first spot you check is the RUF bank. See if there's anybody sniping off it, make sure it's clear. If there's nobody there, you got a good chance they've made their way to the med camp. We start by scouting the first box, then the second box, and the third box. And the most common spot you'll find them, looting the med crate or the shelf. If you're battling to get on this rock, use its little baby brother rock next to it. View isn't as good, but it still gives you a good sightline into med camp. Make your way to the front and try not to be seen. Jump onto this little mound, sprint forward and jump. Once you're up here, situate yourself either in that little crevice or just on the back. I prefer the back because you can get stuck in that crevice and it makes life extremely difficult. And once again, you're exposed up here, so don't think you're invisible. First spot to check is the box straight in front of us, about 100 meters away. You got the tent, there's a duffel bag that spawns right where I'm looking, followed by the box in the middle of the camp. And then on occasion, you can see the tippy top of heads just where I'm looking now. The view isn't as good as the big brother rock, which is next to us, so I'd highly recommend you practice that. When I spawn at the RUF roadblock, this is how I tend to play it out. I do a complete 180 and we're gonna mount the cliff. Just follow this route, it's very easy to get up here. Once you get to this spot, just jump onto that flat little platform, aim into the crevice, sprint and jump. Once you've settled, another little hop will take you just a little bit further up, and then you can vault onto the top. Now, if you practice this, you can do it really quickly in the first minute, which means you're able to catch the guys off at the UN roadblock, especially if there's a squad, and especially if somebody's AFK. Nice, easy clap. It doesn't happen often, I'm just saying, but it has happened a couple of times, and there's nothing better than getting reported. Now, with medcamp, you don't have many lines inside it, but you have got quite a lot of the outside covered. And if you're getting people coming from the old station or the UN roadblock and they get in there, they'll usually leave on the entrance we're looking at and go down to the vehicle at the bottom or cross to Sawmill. The way I normally play this spot is if I spawned here, I get up, I check the UN roadblock, I then rotate and check out Sawmill. See if Sturman's up, see what's happening. The moment you hear any sort of commotion at the med camp, that's when it gets interesting. One more bit of information. If you're on the first location I showed you, the Chapel Rock, and you whiff your shot, I would rotate you as quick as you can, because once they get their act together, they're going to leave the med camp. You will have more than enough time to get up here and watch them leave, either have another couple of shots of them when they're on the shore crossing at the lake or going to Sawmill. One last thing, you're a little bit safer up here than you are on the ground, so I'd always highly recommend sniping from the top here. Couple more bits of information just on this spot. For those of you that don't know, you've got eyes on the van where you have to collect the blood sample, you've got eyes on the pier where you have to deliver the goods for Ragman, and the log pile where you have to hide the camera. And Sturman's stash. Spot number 4, we're located next to Spine. Just above the plane, follow this line. This will open up the backside of the med camp. I tend to use this spot when I've whiffed at spot 1 or 2. I'll do a massive rotation up here and I'll get the guys that are cowering at the back. Alternatively, if you've heard some action kick off at the med camp, this will be another good spot. You've also got a great sightline on the RUF cliff. Plenty of opportunities to be had from over here. Spot number 5 is situational. If you spawn under this mountain, run around it, get to the top ASAP and follow this route. Once you're on the rock in front of me, you'll be able to get a sight line again on the backside of the med camp. But you can do this quick enough that you catch the guys that are looting, particularly the guys that spawn at RUF. There's a particular med bag that occasionally spawns on the chair in the far back left corner, and it gives you about a 490 meter headshot on somebody that's not moving. If you've heard some action happening in the med camp, another great spot if you're in this area to get a snipe or two, or get some practice in. Spot number 6. Any spawn near the outskirts, I would make my way to Deadman's place. Once here, you might be able to catch the guys out that are running in from RUF. Once you've cleared the spawn in front of you, make your way to the rock in the front of this mound. If you lie in the middle here, you'll get a great sideline inside the med camp. We're going to be honing in on those sandbags. Just behind it on the right is a loot box, and occasionally you get sightline on a PMC looting it. On the left, just next to the trailer on the floor, is a med bag. Very RNG, but if you get here quick enough, it's on the looting path very early on that PMCs will hit it. Give it a couple of minutes. If nothing happens, move on with the raid. Or just hang about, clap the dudes that go to the van, planting their stuff on the pier, hiding their camera on the planks. Make sure you check the Violet Hut. And lastly, the dudes that like to snipe Stoneman from the right hill. If this guide helps you in any way, please leave a comment. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell. It really goes a long way to pushing me to do more content, and I hope you enjoy. Have a great day.